ready to move on to our first presentation, which I'm assuming is going to be stop-arm.
Yes, so Liz Gillio is here, and she's going to give us an update on the New York State stop-arm camera law. And I'll do a quick history lesson for this board. Was during our budget process last year, we included a line item for the equipment, cameras, to be placed on our buses because it was being, this law was being discussed in Albany. And a lot of districts were excited, a lot of communities were excited, a way of trying to police and send a message that you got to be a safe driver around a bus and can't pass with their lights on, so on and so forth. We had a lot of urgency, we had a lot of excitement. School Boards Association got on board, the School Business Officials Association, Liz's Transportation Association, everyone loved it. And then we got a copy of the law. And while we support 100% student safety and bus transportation safety, this bill as enacted is not what it was 8 months ago. And has really put districts in an interesting predicament in terms of how they move forward. So I asked Liz to speak with her state association to have a very objective commentary on it, because her association lobbies with lawmakers and with safety folks and transportation departments. And we wanted to really have an objective approach at what the next steps are. And there's still a more questions and answers. So, this is more of an update as to implementing the law. And we're going to rely on Liz and her state association to continue to advise us. So with that, I'll turn it over to Liz.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
So, I can tell you this, and as you saw from the presentation, so the law took effect September 5th of this year. Right? It is a law, but it's not a mandate. Everyone has the option of whether or not you want to participate in installing the cameras on the buses. But in order for us to do that, the Board of Education would have to pass a resolution to enter into an agreement with either the county, city, village, or town in which our district is in. For us, it would probably be most prudent to go with the county because they can cover all the areas that that HENDRICK HUDSON encompasses. The camera system can be installed on either our buses, or if we were a contract provider, it would be go on their buses, but obviously it would be on it. The images produced from the cameras cannot be used for anything other than violations of vehicle and traffic law. They can't be used for any kind of disciplinary action against our employees. They can only be used for vehicle and traffic law infractions. The school district is prohibited from assessing the images. I can't watch the camera and say, oh, this guy definitely did it, and then I'm going to send the film. It's all a care and custody agreement that I have to follow that is laid out by the police department, and so we can't make any decision. I'm actually not even supposed to view them. The images are just supposed to go right to the police without me seeing them. So we don't know how many people are being caught, how many people are not being caught. The cost for the stop-arm cameras is the responsibility of the municipality. So it would be Westchester County that would have to foot the bill for the cameras to be installed.
You mean Westchester County pays for it, or we pay Westchester County?
Would pay for it,
they reimburse
and then
us.
they would get their money back based on the amount of fines that are collected from the violators.
So the fines go to the county, not to the district?
Correct. Yes. Until the county is paid in full, and then that's the agreement. That's something you have to work out in your agreement.
Then what happens after
that? Then the money would go to the district.
So why is it county as opposed to some other municipality, or is it just?
Well, I'm saying Westchester County because of the fact that we have the Village of Buchanan, we have the Town of Portland, we have the City of Peekskill. So we would have to either, one, enter an agreement with 3 different places.
Has to be jurisdiction.
Okay, but what about if, like, and I apologize, maybe this is, but what happens if, the HENHUD buses are driving down to a school in White Plains?
Then county would cover
Then
it.
Westchester County is our police.
So then it would have to be West, because that would be the jurisdiction.
But when they go to Putnam, So let's say they go to Brewster, then it's out of our
Or Connecticut.
The image is gonna
jurisdiction.
go, the image is still gonna go to the Westchester County Police.
But it's out of their jurisdiction at
Whether or
that
not
point.
they, right, so it's a whole,
It's whatever they do with it
Right.
then from there.
So one
Well,
way it
doesn't
was
this-
explained to me was envision our buses being deputized as eyes and ears of a law enforcement agency.
Yeah.
They're borrowing our space. They're borrowing our space for eyes, cameras.
Yeah.
And they take all the images and then they go through their own process of trying to track down who did it and assess them a fee, so on and so forth. And then we make it a piece of that as our relationship with them for carrying these cameras on the bus.
I mean, when we get into the technology side, I'll have a lot of questions at that point. But before that, I just need to be clear on the financing. So we have it in our budget. So we have a line item in our budget to pay for this.
correct. I put it into,
So how does that-
into our equipment part of the budget because my
Understand.
interpretation of the
We're
law
right.
8 months ago was that we would put the cameras on,
And
we would
pay for
provide the
it.
police with the images, we would earn a portion of the fee that's paid for by the violations, which would then in turn pay off the cameras, that the money that we put in to put the cameras on. That is no longer what's going to be able to be done.
Okay,
So it is now the responsibility, financial responsibility of the municipality to
of the county,
to do.
if we want the county. So, okay, so that means that money from that line item budget would go back to the
Correct.
fund balance.
But
Well,
Or
in
somewhere.
in
We don't
this
have-
case, was part of the separate proposition, so instead of being, raising $500,000, now we're raising $500,000 less what, we set the cost of the camera as well. So we are issuing less debt.
and we don't have the revenue coming in on it.
Correct.
How come we're not including the state police as an option for, because they cover town of
State police
Cortland, don't
do not-
they?
Are not part of it.
They don't
They're not part of
participate.
it for anybody.
They don't
They
participate.
They won't go to the state police, it only has to be county or local.
Now, what
I'm-
about, oh, sorry.
I'm assuming from what you're saying that our SRO can't access the images either.
Correct.
So that was my bigger concern. So it can't be used for disciplinary actions. Let's say something happens with a driver that they do something really egregious, or a student does
I
something
have to
really
rely on the other
egregious
3 cameras on the vehicle.
that's caught on camera. Okay,
And this is an outside camera.
It's an outside camera,
Correct,
it's only
this
gonna
is
be
a
catching a
camera
license
outside of the
plate.
vehicle.
okay.
And it only can capture the picture of the license plate of the vehicle. And if you see later in my next slide, it cannot capture the contents of a vehicle, it cannot capture the passengers in the vehicle, nor the driver. It can only capture the license plate of the car. The fines are established as if you passed a traffic light, which is not how the law was originally designed. You know, the NIAPT was very strong in their wording and their decision-making that we wanted it to be that if you passed a school bus, then there is a level of fine that starts at $250. The second time you do it, it's $500. There's points on your license. There's possible jail time. All that's been removed from the law. So it
What
is-
happened?
That's crazy.
I don't know. We'd have to talk to, the governor and the lobbyist and the lawmakers to find out why it got watered down the
Makes
way
no
that it did.
sense. The way they talk about disciplinary.
Okay, so.
I mean, what if the camera catches somebody crashing? I mean, what if?
Well, it can't.
Or hitting
If that's,
somebody.
if
Or
it's
hitting
designed to
somebody.
only recognize a plate, it's not going to capture any other data then. Which is interesting. Is the count,
It
has the
zoomed in on a license, or is it like,
It's just, it zooms in on the light, it only shows the license plate.
did the county indicate
kinda
whether they'd
fishy
be
to begin
willing
with,
to
too.
fund this?
I haven't spoken to anybody from the
We
county
haven't even
yet.
gotten that.
We
So
haven't
we
gotten
might
that
say
far.
we're all ready to go, and the county says, sorry, we don't have the funds for it, and then that's it?
Right, well, there's, you know, as I go on, we'll talk more about that. So where do we go from here?
yeah?
So the municipality would authorize a local law. The school board would have to pass a resolution. The school district would enter into an agreement with the municipality. And then the municipality is responsible for managing the program, the purchase, the installation, and the maintenance of all the cameras. And the cost for it is not aidable, so they can't get aid for it, and we can't get aid for
So they don't want to solve this problem.
it, okay?
Right,
So-
that's what it says.
Well, if the county's willing to pay,
The cost is the responsibility of the municipality.
That's right, Latimer will just raise it.
Prior to June 1st, or September 1st, sorry, the district would have to determine and certify costs prior to the year ending June 30th. Well, we didn't even know what the law was. We didn't know it was even adopted until, August, so we couldn't meet either one of those deadlines. All right? And the municipality would be required to reimburse the district prior to December 1st if there was any money that the district outlays. But, right? So the management of the video would be that school officials are not able to access the data or assess it either. The video cannot be used for disciplinary action against employees. The agreement must define how the video data is obtained by the municipality, proper handling, custody, that whole thing that we discussed, that is all, there's clear guidelines that the police have. And then the video is destroyed after 90 days if there's no notice of violation or there's no disposition of notice of liability. So if nobody goes to court and says, not guilty, I didn't do it, then they would have to just destroy the video. Okay, so other things that we need to consider are, one, we would have to put signage at all of the boundaries of the district. So we have to make sure people know that they're going to be videotaped, that we're using stop arm cameras. The technology cannot photograph passengers, the contents of the vehicle, or pedestrians. And it's the responsibility of the municipality to submit annual reports to the governor, to the Senate, and Speaker of the Assembly regarding how many violations, the amount of the, monetary value of fines that are collected from it. All right, and the fines would remain local with the county, city, town, or village, depending on, who it is that we have the agreement.
So it's just fines, it's no points on your license.
There's no points in here.
That's a moving violation.
It's like running the red light and young.
Correct.
But isn't that a moving violation?
So just out of curiosity, so if
That's
we
what I
go
said.
with this, it's not points on your license, isn't there, if we don't use the stop arm and it actually, and again, I don't know what the distinction is, but if we don't use that and, this is something, or somebody sees somebody do this, and does it then, if it's not part of the stop arm program, then can it be a moving violation or points on the
So
license?
if, we had this happen the other day, we had the state police, they are very good about, staying involved, so they've been following some of my buses. And we had buses the other day that were passed and the state trooper, pulled over the motorist and ticketed them. So yeah, that's points on their license and it's, it's a
That's a
fine.
moving violation.
See, so that's got more bite than this.
Because he saw them and caught them, yes.
The big debate in Albany when this happened was there was fear from lawmakers that this was the beginning of Big Brother, that this was the beginning of municipalities and police agencies able to rely on other data, videotape evidence, to basically prosecute people. And this was the agreement that they came to, and everyone, including our hands, and I'll just say the town of Cortland for starters, hands are tied, because now the initial cost of this starts with the town of Cortland. They have to pass a resolution authorizing it. Then they come to us to ask us if we would put their cameras on our buses. And then, and I don't know that we got here, the municipality has to contract with a third party that collects the fines and then distributes them to the municipality and then eventually the school district. So if we could watch, and I didn't, but if we went back and watched Liz's budget presentation from last February, we were much more excited about it then than we were now, because we have all seen cars pass a bus, sadly. And We thought that this was going to be the beginning of a real partnership between the school district and law enforcement to crack down. The end result
watered
after the
down.
debate is really, it's too convoluted. I don't think it achieves what it was intended to achieve.
I
Well,
agree.
it's supposed to be a deterrent,
Yeah.
right? So this doesn't really change the fact that if you put the cameras on the buses, it's still a deterrent.
You could put the
That
signs
doesn't-
out
I
on the,
mean-
you could put the signs out there. It's like putting something, a sign in your yard saying, I have like a security system, and not
Beware
really
dog.
having one.
Yeah, but
No,
I mean,
but
there
it's-
is a way to find, there is a deterrent. I mean, it's about the safety of the kids in the end. Because if someone runs a
Yeah, but if
school
somebody's
bus,
getting hit for like $100 as opposed to points on his license, I would think people are gonna, I don't think there's enough bite here. I think this waters down the crime, the punishment enough that it's sort of like, you know,
so you don't
you
think
know,
if someone
Well, it's also-
knows that
it's
there's a
better than
camera on a
something.
bus,
It's better than
Sounds like
something.
it's better than nothing,
Nothing.
right?
Disaster, you know?
The idea is that it's better than nothing, and if the county's
But we
willing to
don't
pay
have nothing.
for
We
it,
have police
Right.
that are
And is
actually
it better than
following.
nothing?
but that's
Because it's-
limited.
It's
Yeah,
very
how often do the
convoluted, it
police
looks like it's
catch
gonna be
somebody?
very hard to enforce.
So
And I think
I-
we have to think about
it's
whether
not-
it's worse than
It's not that
better
hard
than
to
nothing.
enforce. I mean, right?
Anyway.
Okay.
I don't,
So I am in Albany next week
it's
on
either you have to.
Thursday, Friday, and
I
Saturday.
just let you go.
I have a board of directors meeting in Albany, and we'll talk up there, and, I've sent out emails to all of the people in my local association that I'm the president of, and asked them, has anybody else, has anybody gone the next step? Has anybody contracted with their municipality? Has anybody,
Nobody has, right?
I
That's
just,
what
I
she's
just
gonna
don't
find
know.
out.
I just don't know. So where do we go from here? So. it
One
really
more
should-
question, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
What if school district, not that it's our concern, that don't own their own buses?
Doesn't matter.
They can still go on.
Put
It
on
would
the
be up to the
contracted buses.
municipality. They would still
Okay.
have to contract with a provider,
Yeah,
and they can go on contract buses. So I kind of put like the cart before the horse here. So one, we would have to determine the cost. How much is it going to cost the municipality to put the cameras on? We would have to contract with an outside provider of the service, not us, but the municipality. So
It's
I would probably do the legwork for them because it's what I'm familiar with. So we have Seon cameras on our buses now. Can Seon tie into the stop arm camera? That's where I got my pricing from for the budget. I did meet with and talk with the representative from Bus Patrol up in Albany in July. And he actually, I really liked what he said, but I don't know. I don't know how much what the cost is for him.
Where's the step in here to find out if the county will actually fund us? Because wouldn't that be number one? Because if they're not
Is the
going to
county
fund
even
Number one
us.
interested
is
in
that a
doing this?
municipality has to
Right.
authorize a local law.
Yeah, so,
Right.
but if no one's
We
going
can
to
do
pay
anything
for
else.
it, yeah. Do you think the
Right,
municipality
so
would
it's,
not?
that's all conversations that
I don't know.
that the superintendent needs to have, with the people from the county. It's, not something that I would participate, but as far as, who's gonna pay for it, how much are you gonna pay, can you?
Do you think the estimates changed since the law went into effect?
I think that, no, because he gave me no, I don't. It depends if we stay with Seon or if we go with another.
But we have a general
Well,
what Seon
ballpark now.
offers.
And it's not us who decide, it would be the
Correct.
county.
Correct.
Can I ask how much?
It says the municipality has to purchase, install, and maintain the cameras, so it's going to be up to the municipality whether they
Yeah.
want
Is
to
it-
do this.
Use
or
that
they think
company
they're
or
doing
something.
it.
Correct. But I
Does that
know
mean
that
town of Portland, or does that mean?
No, the county.
County,
It's-
the municipality being the
From
county.
Bus Patrol did say that they install their equipment, and then they are paid back based on what the fines are that they collect. He asked how many passings do we have, what's our average passing, do I have any actual counts I can provide for him? So I did provide him with that. We have Operation Safe Stop, which is run in New York State, which was started by the president of NYS, which is the association I belong to, years ago, and it's an actual count day where we are counting the number of passes. We do this every month. And then Operation Safe Stop itself is we have a day that we concentrate and we have increased police presence following buses. We give them bus routes with times and locations that are high incidence of passing and everything else. And then we, hope that people get the message then through that, you shouldn't be passing a school bus. Because you pass a school bus, it could be a child's life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You said you're tracking this, how often is this at?
So we actually have a count day coming up in October. So we do it every month from now until June, starting in October.
Based on last year?
Based on last year, we average about 8 passes a day.
Wow.
That's awful. Wow.
That's 8
Jeepers.
kids.
There's 50,000 passes a day in New York State.
So if we're doing 8 passes a day, and let's say there are 20 school days a month, is that right? So we're talking about 160 possible chances of kids getting killed every month. Wouldn't the cost of this and the effort for this, even if it just reduces that by 25%, 30%, wouldn't that be worth it?
It's always worth it.
That's why we put the money, but it's not up to us.
Right.
That's a
Right.
problem.
We
It's-
can't,
We can't
we
force the
don't own
county to.
this soup
We
to
can't force
nuts.
them to pay.
This was stupid.
Right. But if, let's say it is 120 a month times $250 per occurrence, they'll make their money back pretty quickly. Wouldn't they?
If
Depending
the
on how much
behavior
the system
continues.
costs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we hope it
They
doesn't.
get
Right.
it implemented.
Right.
No,
You figure if
we
it's not
agree it was a
like-
great idea. The problem is that it's out of our hands.
Well, you're also looking at, there's probably what, I don't know, how many school districts are there in the county? 50?
74.
74. Now, if they all like sign, say even half of them, only half sign on to it, you're looking at 40. What do you think the sequence is to get the equipment in, get it installed, get it all? I mean, you're looking at easy
Never mind
6 months.
authorizing the local laws and just
Yep.
entering into the agreements.
Yeah, that you're talking a year.
Correct.
So
I
are we
think that,
saying
unfortunately-
don't do it because
No,
of
but I'm
that?
just
Or
saying,
we're
We're at
just
the
no,
point
but
now
what
where
we're
we
saying is
really
there's so
have
many
to do
unknowns.
more
Yeah.
research and learn a lot more. Even though we know what the law says, I think that there's still a lot more that I have to learn to be able to bring back to you, to be able for you guys to make an informed decision as to where we go from here.
Well, then I think it's
That's
worth
great.
looking at.
Well, but
Oh,
but
definitely.
remember, and I don't take
Definitely.
pride in
Maybe that's
saying
what
this,
she's looking for, the
but
guidance to-
our decision to act is only after municipalities
Ah.
started.
Right?
Yeah.
That's our debriefing of how this law was being constructed a year ago was district buys the cameras, they put them on their vehicle, and they share the data. Liz gets the
Right.
time, place, and date of when 8 vehicles passed the bus. We go to the video, we send it to law enforcement, and it's quick, and that's
So there's
not how
no way
that's
for us
done.
to do this unless the municipality is willing to pay for it, meaning the county.
Correct.
So we can't reimburse them for it with the money that we've already budgeted.
Oh, no. That's illegal.
No, and it's not aidable funds either.
Yeah. I cannot tell town of Portland, I'll give you the money, you put it.
But the cameras inside of my buses, all that's aidable. But outside the bus, it's not aidable.
Interesting. That's
Stay tuned,
Makes
but
sense.
we wanted to give this update because there was a big buzz in Albany about passing the law that's not a mandate, it's an opt-in law. And wanted to fill everyone in, and we're all
And
gonna
if
learn
Westchester
more.
County is not
You know,
doing
one
it,
of the
just
takeaways is we are
imagine
not in the
Columbia
driver's seat here,
County
no
that
pun
is
intended, but we're not.
with no money.
With no money, that's what I'm saying.
Before
So
we move on,
this
did
is
anybody else
going
have any
nowhere
questions?
else.
All right.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Liz.
you.